ago I was in my second year of working out. I was an intermediate level lifter and was doing a push-pull legs routine for a long time, but I still didn't look good. I was gaining strength but not size. On the outside I wanted a more aesthetic V-taper look, but if I looked within myself I wanted validation through fitness, especially the idea of being the best at something, lifting, amongst my year group, which gave me validation. The wall I hit was my ignorance about not training my body through a variety of movements, and neglecting to train my posterior chain properly. I would skip hamstrings, I would only do rows for back, and I'd only do overhead presses for my push days, leading to big front delts but small everything else. I realized after taking a photo of my back I don't even look like I lift, and felt weak and unagile in sports. I had a plan to fix this by including 4 or even 5 different exercises per muscle group. For example, I would do 4 sets of pull-ups, chin-ups, rows, bicep curls and hammer curls on a pull day, which helped a bit, but I didn't see the point of doing all of them, leading to me not following my program. Eventually, after a break, I returned to weights in 2023 and heavily condensed my workouts to 2, at the most 3 movements, which made me more consistent, helping me gain size and strength. By now you already know why I recommend calisthenics. If you were a true beginner, know that there are 6 key movements and you could gain a lot of size and strength with just them. A horizontal push, a vertical push, a horizontal pull, a vertical pull, a knee hinge, a hip hinge. Firstly, for your horizontal push we need a chest dominant pushing exercise. A popular one is the push-up. Now there's many variations from wall push-ups to full planche push-ups, so find a progression that works for you. Secondly, you got your vertical push. Here you're pushing something upwards, and a weightlifting example would be the overhead press. The main movement for this is the handstand push-up, but again this is a very difficult exercise, so there's many progressions leading to it, from pike holds to crazy stuff like clapping handstand push-ups. These 2 movements train your chest, shoulders and triceps. Note how I said triceps, because even though we didn't do any triceps specific exercises, these movements will train it pretty heavily anyway. If you still want to train them, at the end I'll talk about some isolation exercises you could add. Moving into the pulling section, first we got the horizontal pull. Now I won't lie, this isn't the most important part if you're hitting your back with pull-ups, but it does make your back look thicker and meatier. The basic exercise for this is the body weight row with advanced progressions, getting into stuff like one-arm rows, which are surprisingly hard, and crazy stuff like front lever rows. The vertical pulling section is the cornerstone of your back training. The basic exercise is the pull-up with easier progressions to it being found at many of my other videos, basically decreasing the weight you're pulling through doing negatives or leg-assisted pull-ups or shorter range of motion. Harder variations are one-arm pull-ups, but honestly I train more like a bodybuilder with this and just keep on adding weight by doing weighted pull-ups, which have been great for my back. Finally, moving into legs, the basic knee hinge movement is the squat. Not much to say here except harder variations shift the weight onto one leg through archer squats and eventually one leg squats. Past that point you need to add weight through stuff like dumbbells or a weighted vest. Since you've watched this far, you probably like me more than the average person, and I want to tell you I don't think training legs is important unless you're an athlete. Maybe it's just my laziness, but when you tell me to follow a strict and perfect push-pull legs, I'm way more consistent if I just skip legs except for calf raises and tibia raises, since I want to become a better distance runner. But anyway. Finally, the 6th movement you need is a hip hinge movement. Here we try to replicate the deadlift as much as possible. The basic movement is the glute bridge, basically a hip thrust with 0 weight. This leads into advanced progressions like the Nordic curl, which is extremely difficult to do with a full range of motion. Isolation movements I would include are a calf exercise. If you're an athlete, I would do tibialis raises, which have helped me with shin splits. For aesthetics, just do your regular calf raises instead. For triceps, you could do tricep dips where you're more upright on the dip bars. These aren't an isolation movement, so switch these out for the handstand push-ups if you want. You could also do hanging leg raises for abs, progressing them by holding a dumbbell between your feet. I would also do some neck curls on a bench. Pick 2 of these exercises at most and make sure you're consistent in them. These are completely optional. That's what I would do if I was a complete beginner. I'd prioritize training those 6 key movements, starting from the easiest progression and ultimately reaching as high as I can. You can also just add weight to your favorite stage of the progression, e.g. weighted push-ups or pull-ups, which is what I do. Thanks for watching, and comment any other video topics you'd want from me.